This is the new Volkswagen ID5, and it's a little bit like putting your Crocs in sport mode. You see, what they've done is taken the ID4 and then made a bit more coupe-like, so it's cooler. Though, just like wearing Crocs, it's never going to be that cool, is it? Anyhow, in this video I'm going to talk you around the exterior design of this car. I'm going to show you the inside, I'm going to see how practical it is, I'm going to try its technology, and I'm going to drive it on a wide variety of roads. And of course, I'm going to launch it to see how quick this ID5 is from 0 to 60 miles an hour. Because I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching CarWow. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on. That way, you won't miss one of these review videos. Buy, sell, CarWow. Let's start this video by talking about the design of the ID5, and the biggest difference over the ID4 is of course the tailgate, which is a lot more swoopy because it's a four-door coupe. You also get a spoiler, which spoils your view out the back window a little bit, as I'll show you later on. You also have ID5 badging and a full-length light bar. Moving down the side, you can really see the sloping roof line. I do think this looks better than the ID4. It's less blobby, and in some ways, because you've got this contrasting roof bar here, I can almost picture it as a convertible. Should they actually do this as a convertible, or am I mad? Put a pin comment, you can vote, let me know how I lost the plot. Anyway, alloy wheels start at 19 inches, rising to 20s, which is what this car has. Moving towards the front, very similar to the ID4 at the front, no changes really at all. So you've got a light bar which runs across the front here. There's no proper grille because it's an electric car. And yeah, this is what it looks like. Does it look like an expensive car to you? Because it certainly is. It starts at just under £50,000. This one though, with the equipment on it and things like that, it's going for £60,000. Thankfully though, if you go on CarWow, you can save some money off one. So the average saving on an ID5 through CarWow at the moment is just over £1,000. Now, if you want to see how much money you can save on your next car, be it a new car or a used car, click on the pop-out banner up there for the link in the description below to go to CarWow. Alternatively, if you want to do that at a later date, just simply Google "Help Me CarWow," and me and my team will help you choose the right car for you and get it for a fair price from one of our trusted dealers. Here on the inside, the ID5 gets these sporty seats as standard, which are pretty nice. They're comfortable, and there's plenty of adjustment in them, and there's plenty of adjustment in the steering wheel as well, and you can get a decent view out of this car. Other than that though, it's exactly the same as the ID4, so quality is all right, but there are some scratchy plastics a bit lower down. I'm not feeling the £50,000 to tell you the truth. In fact, I think that the interior of a Kia EV6 does just feel a little bit more expensive. If you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner up there for the link in the description below. I think one of my biggest problems that I have with the ID4 and the ID5, this particular car, is infotainment system. So you do get this big screen here. Another thing is you have to use a slider for the volume control, and these buttons here, they're not backlit, so they're quite hard to see when you're driving at night. Another thing that I find annoying, the touch-sensitive buttons on the steering wheel. I'm not sure whether you press them or you just slide. I don't know, it all kind of does my head in. I'm a little bit disappointed by the size of the digital driver's display as well. It does show you your speed and stuff like that, but there's not actually that much information on it. You can only switch between a couple of views, and it's all pretty small. And your driving select buttons there. Now, it is actually quite handy because it's close to where you have your hand on the steering wheel. So I do like that particular feature. In terms of practicality, well, you've got two cup holders here. You've got a storage area there, which you can use to charge your mobile phone because it's also a charge pad. Two USB-C ports there. Some cup holdery, spacery bits here, which you can configure if you want to. And of course, you can cover it over if you're not using it. And my particular favorite thing, which I found very useful during my time with this car, is the fact that the seats have these armrests. So you can just like cruise along like that. Here in the back of the ID5, you do have less headroom because of that sloping roofline than you get in the ID4. I'm fine. Only very tall people will feel a little bit kind of like they have to sit slouched in order to deal with that. But you can slouch quite easily because there's absolutely loads and loads of knee room. And if you need to carry 3 people at once because you've got a flat floor, because there's batteries underneath here, there's no internal combustion engine with like exhaust and prop shafts and all that kind of nonsense. There's plenty of room for everyone's feet, look, loads of foot space. And the car's reasonably wide, so you can fit 3 adults in the back if you need to do that. If you need to carry a baby seat, you've got ISOFIX anchor points here on the 2 outer seats, and they're very easy to get to because you've got flip-up covers. Doors open nice and wide as well. Got the child lock on. Yeah, see, they open nice and wide. It's so easy to get a big baby seat in the back end. You can even fit the rear facing ones without too much trouble because there's so much room back here. Other areas of practicality to note are here, look, we have some cup holders here, some through loading there, You also have these really handy little pockets there where you can put your mobile phone in like that. You know, if you want to watch something just on there like that, and if you like a bit of vertical watching like I do. And you have some old pockets here as well. You get your climate controls down there and 2 USB-C charging ports. I like this, look. Not again. Ow! Just banged my head. This is a disaster. But anyway, look. The rear windows go all the way down. Oh, I always like the fact that this car comes with a panoramic glass roof as standard. Shut up beeping. Mind you, that is one of the reasons for the fact that it costs quite so much. This is terrible. Let's move on. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I need to tell you about the CarWow September sale. We've got over 800 amazing deals with an average saving of £1,500. So click on the pop-out banner up there or the link in the description below to go to CarWow to check out the sale. But move quickly because the offers end on the 30th of September. Now let's move on to the boot. So the capacity of the ID5 is pretty good. It's 549 litres, which is actually 6 litres more than the more boxy ID4. Don't know how that is. Anyway, the boot itself is a nice square shape. There's a few tie down points here and there. We're going to carry longer items. It's leaning, unfortunately, and fold the seats down because there's no release handles here in the back. You don't get a completely flat floor because it does raise up ever so slightly, but it's smooth enough that you can slide things to the front. Underneath here, you have some charging cables. Look at this, yay, charging cables. Now, you might be wondering, why have you got them under there? Surely there's another place where you could store them. This is an electric car after all. And that brings us on to 5 annoying things about the ID5. You see, even though the ID5 and its sister car, the ID4, are built from the ground up electric vehicles, somehow or other, Volkswagen didn't manage to engineer some storage space under the bonnet like you get on many other electric cars, which is the perfect place to store your cables. Epic fail. The glove box on right-hand drive cars is half the size as it should be because Volkswagen couldn't be asked to move the fuse box from here over to the other side when they moved the steering wheel across. A cheap stunt that the French manufacturers used to pull but have now stopped. Thanks for that, Volkswagen. Also, while the door bins are large, look, they're very large, hold a big bottle. The way they're designed, they actually recess further back than you can see, and as a result you often just lose things in there. So you think you've left your keys somewhere in the car, you do a quick check, you swear to your partner that you've checked the car properly, and then eventually they go out and look properly and dig all the way back into the door bin and go, look, you idiot, there they are, you did my head in, we're getting a divorce. The reversing camera on the ID5 is mounted quite low down here, so in winter you get splashed in road grime. There is a little washer for it there, which does help, but on the ID3, which is a less expensive car, the actual reversing camera pops out of the Volkswagen badge, so it's always kept hidden until you need it, so it's always clean when you want to use it. Imagine you're driving along and your child just puts down the rear window and you get that effect where it just really hurts your eardrums as the air goes blah, 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 and you want to put the window up really quickly. Well, it's easier said than done here from the driver's seat because for some reason Volkswagen have got rid of the rear window switches for the driver. So what you have to do is first press this button here to toggle these switches to operate the rear, and then you can put the window up. That is one of the most stupid ideas that I've seen from any motor manufacturer in the past 10 years. You can't quite fit the load cover underneath the false floor. You think you might be able to, you think, oh yeah, surely it's going to fit, surely it will, but nah, it doesn't. You know what that means? Yes, this is getting yeeted. Now, I've been told off by manufacturers for doing that, and so we've had to employ a load cover catcher. Anyway, that brings us on to 5 cool things about the ID5. A lot of manufacturers are fitting their cars with flush door handles because they look better. However, some can be a pain to use in the way that they pop out. I'm talking about you, Mercedes. I like this solution from Volkswagen though, because it's flush, yet looks and operates like a normal door handle. There's actually a switch just inside there, so when you pull on it, the door opens. Easy. These seats may look like they're leather and suede, but they're not actually made from dead animal skin. They're constructed from recycled materials, which is perfect if you fancy doing a bit of virtue signalling. The car has something called the ID light, which is an LED strip that runs across the front of the dash by the windscreen, and it gives you various information, such as when you plug it in charging, it shows you how much charge you've got and that you're actually charging. It will also illuminate when you activate the ID5 assistant, the voice commands, and when you're driving using satellite navigation, it will also signal when you need to leave at a certain junction. You get proper keyless entry and go. So not only does the car recognise when the key's in your pocket and let you in, but you don't even have to press a start button. You just sit on the seat, put it in drive, and then away you go. There are ISOFIX anchor points on the front passenger seat. So if you need to carry 3 baby seats at once, you can do. The ID5 has a 77 kilowatt hour battery pack and a claimed range of 316 miles. You can charge it on DC at 135 kilowatts or AC at 11 kilowatts. You get 2 motor choices with the standard rear wheel drive car, 174 horsepower or 204 horsepower, which is what this car has. You can also get a dual motor GTX model, which has an extra motor on the front axle, and that has 299 horsepower, but which is my favourite choice and trim level of ID5. Well, I'm going to configure my favourite now using the carwow configurator. I've already configured it, I'm not doing it really now. But if you want to see what the car is in the trim level and the saving through carwow, click on the pop-out button up there for the link in the description below to check it out. Right, let's see what this ID5 is like to drive. Starting off with in town. So what I'm going to do is put the car into B mode, which gives me more regen braking. So when you lift off the accelerator, it slows down fairly quickly, but what it never does is come to a complete stop. If you want to stop, you do at some point have to press the brake pedal. I prefer it when you get full 1 pedal drive, when you can come to a complete standstill when you're just driving around town by lifting off the accelerator. Don't know why they don't do it in this car. You know, you may as well just forget that added regen braking and just drive it normally, where you get kind of engine braking like a normal internal combustion engine car, and then use the brakes, because the brakes actually are pretty smooth. Sometimes with electric cars they're a bit grabby when you first press them because they're not very good at blending that regen effect with the actual friction brakes, but VW seem to have it nailed. Another thing they have nailed with this car is the turning circle, because it's just 10.2 meters. Look, I'm going to do a U-E here. The car behind me probably isn't expecting it, because it's quite a long car. This, but I'm going to make it all the way around without curbing the wheels. Look at that. It's so manoeuvrable. The only complaint that I have about it really is the rear visibility. Because of that sloping roofline, you've got a small rear window. It's got like this spoiler across the back, which is pointless on a SUV such as this. And these pillars are quite chunky as well. Other than that though, the slightly raised driving position gives you a good view forward, and you've got some big door mirrors. Right, let's see what the ID5 is like to drive when you go on a faster road, such as a dual carriageway motorway. So imagine you're joining one, you need to accelerate from about 40 to 70. Let's do this. I'm going to floor it, check out the pickup. It's adequate. Now when I'm going slightly quicker, I'm noticing there's a little bit of wind noise from around the door mirrors, but other than that, it's really quiet, this car. Seats are comfy as well, but what about the efficiency? I'm averaging 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour, and when you do the maths based on the battery capacity of this particular car, that works out to 288 miles of real world range. It's a little bit off the claimed 316 miles, but not by much really. However, if you want to go further, you might want to test the Model Y. Click on the pop-out button up there for the link in the description below to watch my full in-depth video review of that car. Right, let's see what this ID5 is like on a twisty road. So I'm going to put it into sports mode. So that's sharpened up the throttle response, made the steering a bit heavier, and it's stiffened up the suspension on this particular car because it's got the adaptive setup. So that should mean that it doesn't lean quite so much in the bends, and yeah, it does stay pretty flat. Don't know if you could hear that then, the tyres squealing. If you push this thing too hard, it does run out of grip in the bends, but you do have to be pushing quite hard. For most people, most of the time, this thing will go around corners well enough. Now, one of the things about being in sports mode when you've got the adaptive dampers is that it does make things a little bit more choppy when you're going over bumps, especially if the road is badly surfaced like this one. So really, you're going to be better off, if I can do it while I'm driving, wish that sport mode was on the steering wheel. Going to comfort, you notice that difference already. It's much smoother now. So yeah, here's a bend, I'm in comfort mode. Oh, I'm easily catching this slow Hyundai up in front of me. Look, you can drive this car as fast as you need to. It's easy, it's relaxing, and it's very, very competent. Those 3 words pretty much sum up the Volkswagen brand in general, don't they? Notice I didn't use the word exciting. The ID5 is not exciting, but that's fine. Now let's see how quick this car is from 0 to 60 miles an hour. Volkswagen says it will take 8.4 seconds. I'm going to put it into sports mode. Let's do it. Just going to floor the accelerator. Put it into normal drive. No brake assist. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. It's quite slow off the line actually, but it's building. What's it going to be? I got an 8.84. Now let's check out the braking performance of this car from 60 miles an hour. I'm going to do a full emergency stop. How long will it take to stop? Oh, 34 meters. That's actually pretty good. So then what's my final verdict on the VW ID5? Should you avoid it, consider it, shortlist it, or just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should consider the ID5. It's quite a nice electric car. It's just a little bit expensive for what it is. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know what you think of my verdict in the comments below. Click on those windows there for some more videos, and on that box there to go to CarWow to see how much money you can save on your next car.